How to create a template in Tracker RMS. Start by clicking on your name in the top right corner of the screen, and then head over to the Tools and Settings section. From the Tools and Settings section, you'll use the second box where it says Create a new email, text, or letter template to send. If you don't see this box, it means you need to ask your management team for access to this tool. Not everyone will have access to the tools in here. Click on the Get Started to get started. From here, you can go ahead and choose an existing template from the drop-down, or in this case, we're starting from scratch. So we're going to click on the little plus button right here to create a new one. The new template name will come down, so we'll go ahead and give it a name. Maybe we want to send job description. We're going to go ahead and choose a template folder we'd like it to live in. Now the folder is really just for organizational purposes. It has nothing to do with the functionality of the template. It's just, where you want it to live as far as organization. Template format. Today we're going to be building an email template. Sending from A. Now this is probably going to be by far the most important part about setting up a template. If you're sending it from A, you really have to think about what screen you're going to be on when you decide to send out this template. Well, I'm thinking about when I run a search in my long list, I want to be able to send the job description from there. So I'm going to go ahead and choose long list as my association. Clone an existing template allows you to take any of the existing templates that you have and clone it for the content that's already in there. In this case, we're going to start from scratch. Go ahead and click Save. When you click Save, it's going to take you to the new page where you finish entering all the information. You'll see here that the first set of information has already been added in here. You'll want to make sure that you upload the subject line, the subject line. So in this case, maybe it's like, are you interested? And maybe I want to put the job title here. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and build out the body so I can show you what the tags look like, and then we'll come back to the subject line. So this is going to be really brief. I might say something like hi, and then I'll want to come over here and pick up a tag. You'll find the tags right here in the top left of the little formatting bar. And I'm going to go ahead and pick up my tag. So to keep in mind with tags, standard tags here on the left are going to be related to you. So this is going to be your own company name, your own first name, your own email signature, etc. Whereas record tags are going to be related to the record association that you picked. Well, in this case, we picked long list, so everything in this record tag section is going to be related to the long list. Here you'll see that we have some tags here. Opportunity means job, and resource means candidate. Now I know what you're thinking, why wouldn't you just name them job and candidate? Well, in your system you might call jobs jobs, like we do. But other people that use Tracker RMS might call them searches or mandates or job orders. So we really have to just stick with one name, so we do use that database name. Same with candidates. You guys might call them candidates like we do, but other people call them job seekers and other things. So we stick with resource. All right. So we want the candidate's first name, so we're going to go ahead and pick up resource first name. We can say, are you interested in the role of, and then I'm going to go ahead and put the job name in here. So I'm going to again use that little tag button and find the job name. So that there it is, opportunity name. And then we can say something like, take a look at the description below. And then we can do something like this and add in the job description using that same tag button. There it is. Then you can say, let me know. Then we can add in a couple tags like my first name and then my email signature. So obviously you can get much more complex than that. I'm just going to do a real basic one for today. And then also might want to put a tag in the subject line. So are you interested in a, whatever role? So in this case, tags aren't able to be pulled directly into the subject line for whatever reason. So I'm just going to copy and paste that right in here, and then it'll work just fine. So we can do something like that, and we'll be good to go. All right, I'm going to go ahead and scroll down to the next section, which I think is one of the most powerful parts about setting up a template. Template fixed recipients. Do you want, someone to always be BCC'd on your team, perhaps? Do not populate to field would mean, maybe if you hit send to candidate, you don't want it to actually populate with their email address. So, oftentimes that does come into play. Auto attachments, do you always want something automatically attached to here? So an example of this might be, hey, your email or your interview is happening next week. Here's, some tips and tricks on how to have a great interview. So something like that would be, a nice permanent automatic attachment if you're doing like a template like that. And then as far as default template workflow, this is where it comes super in handy because sending this template will then trigger the system to update certain fields or remind you of something or maybe push you through certain workflow. So in this case, we are looking at reminders. So any of the underlined words will actually be editable. So remind me, or I can say remind David to follow up on this by telephone tomorrow. So, this can be whatever you want. Maybe you want him to follow up with an appointment in 2 days, whatever makes sense to you. And then this will be the subject line of the new follow-up activity. Now, if you were to have chosen a different association, oftentimes there's ways to update, workflow, placement record statuses, job statuses, etc. Okay? Okay, great. So I'm going to make sure to scroll up to the top and hit Save Template. And then once I save it, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys where to find it. So we chose long list as our association, so that's really going to be the only place we can see this template. So I'm going to go ahead and go into my recently viewed jobs and find a job that I've recently viewed. And from this job record, I'm going to go ahead and find that long list and go ahead and show you guys what it looks like. So from the long list, I'm going to go ahead and select one or multiple people, and then I'm going to use the drop-down arrow to send an email. From here, I'm going to go ahead and choose a template. Now it looks like only one email address was available, so that's only one came in. You'll see here in this email column that these two people don't have email addresses. So that's something to keep in mind. You're going to go ahead and pick up your template, sending job description to the candidate, and then it will populate here. So you can see here that it said for the role of, there's my description. Please let me know if you're interested. Here's the job description, name, email, signature. All right. You'll see here that it's still reminding people to do stuff, and I can go ahead and hit send, and off it goes. Now, if I do refresh this, you'll see here that our next activity is our follow-up scheduled for that. All right, and that's, okay, actually it's right down here. All right, and that's how you create a template to send in Tracker RMS.